Ms. Boy.
Thank you, Chair. Brigadier, we were at page 10, but we can move to page 11 of the WhatsApp chats. Brigadier, are you there? Okay, thank you. And there, on the 17th of January at 10:15, you sent a message to Mr. Madlanga confirming the meeting.
Again, Ms. Boy, if you may please speak up.
Is that better?
Yes.
My apologies. You sent a message to Mr. Madlanga at 10:15, confirming a meeting that was going to take place that afternoon. And in response, he said, okay, I'll see you at 1400. Sorry, I was in a meeting. You then asked Medicare or CAT VIP officers, and his response is Medicare. Just to ask a clarity question, earlier in your testimony, in response to a question from Commissioner Kumalo, you indicated that some of the meetings were held at CAT VIP offices. Why was that?
I indicated that before they had an office in Main Lane, it's either the meetings will be held at CAT VIP because it was around Pretoria, or otherwise it will be in Boxback, Medicare, I think it's Medicare Clinic.
Is there a reason why it wasn't then held in Boxburg, and rather that it was held at CAT VIP offices?
I think Mr. Madlanga was trying to accommodate us because we are based in Pretoria and the CAT VIP offices were around Pretoria in Main Lane. But later they had offices, Medicare offices in Main Lane. So in this instance, when he says Medicare, it was now their new offices in Main Lane.
If it was a reference to their new offices in mainland, what necessitated the question?
Because the last meeting, he indicated that it must be at CAT VIP offices. So now I wanted confirmation whether we're still going back to CAT VIP offices or it will be at Medicare offices.
All right. Thank you, Brigadier.
Are you moving on, Ms. Boy? And why did you not meet? This is you were attending these as a subs officer, were you not? The meetings.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Why did you not meet at subs offices in Pretoria? Why did you have to go to Mr. Madlanga's offices?
Sure, we never thought, I think maybe, I don't know, either at subs offices or it will be at Medicare. And I was informed that even with the previous service provider, they will go to their offices where they are, instead of them coming to subs premises.
All right, thanks, Ms. Bowen.
Thank you, Brigadier. But in that instance, would it have been the metropolitan offices? In this instance, it would be CAT VIP as opposed to Medicare.
That's correct.
I think the point of contention is not that you went to a service provider, is that you went to a business unrelated. For the
you mean
meeting.
for CAT VIP?
Yes.
I mean, if it's a boardroom and we want to have a meeting and all the relevant stakeholders were there, I don't see what difference does it make for the location of the meeting.
Thank you, Brigadier. If,
Something in relation to the 2025 meetings. Were you aware that Mr. Madlanga resigned as a director of Medicare 24 at the end of 2024? So at the beginning of 2025, he was no longer a director.
We were not aware, but we heard about it afterwards, that he resigned as, I don't know.
As a director.
As a director of
Yes.
Medicare, but he was still part of Medicare.
But why were you still dealing with him if he was no longer a director and he was just a shareholder?
I'm not sure if it's my ears. I can't hear you properly, Commissioner. My apologies.
So you say you heard that he resigned as a director in 2024 December or thereabout. We are talking here about a meeting in January 2025 on the 17th. And my question is, why are you still dealing with Mr. Madlanga? Because he's no longer a director of Medicare 2024. Why are you still organizing meetings with him? Meetings between SAPS and Medicare 2024, because he's no longer a director of Medicare 24, Tshwane.
Hence, I say, Commissioner, we heard about it, but it was not in December. It was late towards the end of the contract.
So you were not aware that he was no longer a director?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Did you not see the letterheads when you were getting letters from Medicare 24, Tshwane?
No, nothing.
Or you don't remember?
I don't think on his letterhead, his name will be there as a director. It will just be, I must just confirm, it will just be the logo of Medicare. I'm just trying to check one of the letters.
If you're not sure, you can just say, I'm not sure, so that we don't waste time.
I'm not sure, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
Brigadier, you have a relationship with Mr. Madlanga, and you have told us that in your discussions and exchanges, you discuss both private and you had your social conversations, but we know also that you were talking about work as well, to do with this contract. How can it be that you don't become aware that he has resigned? Because you say we became aware of it later, as if you don't have proximity to him. Surely, if you're as close as you have indicated to us, you would know that he's resigning, he has resigned. You would know ahead of even the SEPS officials. How could you not have known that?
No, I didn't know, Commissioner, because not every time he will tell me his businesses. He will limit the conversation between me and him.
Yeah, but this is not just his businesses. This is a contract that you are involved with, in that you are managing it. We've seen, and I've said to you, something that you say in your statement suggests that you played a role, some role in the management of this contract. You are communicating with him about this contract in particular. But this is someone that you have a personal relationship with. How would you not know that he's resigning and these are the reasons for resigning, or even if he doesn't tell you the reason, but that he's resigning or he has resigned? You did not need to hear it from the SAPS.
No, I do agree with you. But I was not aware that he resigned as a director of Medicare, but he was still actively involved in the running of the company.
Okay, thank you.
And then, Brigadier, on page 12, at 15:30, still on the 17th, Mr. Madlanga sends you a series of documentation, all related to a Buena Vista Learning Academy.
Page 12.
Page 12 of the chat.
Okay.
And the actual attachments can be found in the next tab. So it's MTJ 1 to 4. And you'll see there, if you go there on page 1, you'll see there's a notice of registration for this Buena Vista. Then if you go to page 12, it's accreditation as a skills provider. It's a letter confirming that. If you go to page 30, it's another accreditation as a skill provider, a letter confirming that. And then if you go to page 37, there's a provider accreditation notification. Do you see that? So back to the WhatsApp chat. What was the reason for Mr. Madlanga to send you this documentation?
While we were in a meeting with him, he indicated that he was exploring his businesses, and he will be focusing now, or he will be adding something that has to do with training. And then I draw interest in that because I wanted to enhance my skills and do relevant training for my environment, like your Occupational Health and Safety Act, since I was in a new environment. I then asked him the type of training that they are presenting. He forwarded me all of this document.
Brigadier, just to understand your evidence, while at the meeting,
After the meeting.
or after the meeting?
After the meeting.
Okay. He just randomly informed you that he's branching into, expanding into training, or has a company in training.
That's correct.
And then your interest was in advancing your own skills.
Yes. Then I say, what training are you presenting? And he says, I'll send you all the documents so that you can see it. And all of this is something that is not related to my environment. It's municipal training, municipality training.
That would have been the next question, because on consideration of the documents and the areas of competence, it doesn't appear that anything in your environment would have been taught at this
correct.
institution.
That's correct.
So now, Mr. Madlanga, knowing your environment and assuming that he knows your qualifications and what you're interested in, why would he have sent you this or proffered it as a possibility for you to enhance your skills?
It's me that requested that he send it to me because he did not have knowledge of the training that was presented. I think he also had to ask someone to forward it to him so that he can forward it to me.
Brigadier, maybe for me to understand, he says to you, there's a training center that offers this. You say, send me the details because I want to enhance my skills. Then he sends you the details, but nothing is related to your environment.
Yes.
Okay, and outside of these documents, did you know anything about this entity?
No, nothing.
Brigadier, if you just have regard to the third tab, I'll tell you the page. If you look at two documents that we've added to the bundle, the first being a News 24 article, which is at page 80, and a report that confirms the company registration details at page 151. Have you had regard to those two documents?
A newspaper article, yeah, this is a new document that I saw on Tuesday when you were delivering the document, the file.
Yes, but have you had regard to it? Have you had regard to it?
No, I didn't go through it.
Not a problem. And the other document at page 151?
Okay, page 151.
Yes. In particular, if you go to page 152. In both that article and this document, particularly my apologies, page 153, you will see that this learning academy is registered under Mr. Madlala's wife.
Okay.
In your conversations with him, did he indicate this?
No, he did not.
Brigadier, I want to test this with you. Given that, having regard to the contents of the letters and seeing that nothing's tied to your environment, is it at all possible that a different person viewing this may assume that he was sending this to you, and because of your experience and your role in SAPS, as another business opportunity that perhaps his company or the company of your wife can do some or other business with SAPS?
That's not true because if you look at the content of the learning program, they are all based in the municipality training. And also, I am not in the training department. So there's no way that he will have sent me the document thinking that he will do business with SAPS.
Do you accept that it's equally unlikely that he would send you training material for something that's completely unrelated to your specialization or your interest for that matter, or your current role?
As I have indicated, when he was telling me about the training opportunity, I indicated to him that I want to advance my skills, and I asked him the type of training that they are presenting. And he says he doesn't know it. He then forwarded it to me.
And you would want us to believe that he didn't know the training that his wife's company was doing?
That's correct.
Thank you, Brigadier.
I think, Brigadier, for me, it's a different question, really. It is, if you say to him, you wanted training for yourself, that's why you're interested in this business, which we now know is Buena Vista Learning Academy. You want training for yourself, then I'm confused why he would send you this full batch of documents, because MJ4 is the accreditation notification, right? And then it lists what this organization is accredited for. Buena Vista is accredited what services, teaching services it's supposed to provide. I can see how maybe that is necessary information to someone who says, I want to join this institution. What actually training do they provide? But the preceding ones, MJ 1 up to 3, I don't see why he would have sent you this if it's for your training. I mean, what did you understand? How did you understand that this was, and by the way, if you look at the MJ1, the first one, MJ1, and you go from page 2 to the end of that document, it talks about NQF level trainings, which, and please forgive me if I'm wrong, which seems to be you are already out of that league. He knows that, he knows you, he's close to you, so he knows where professionally and by way of qualifications where you are. That he would send you something like this after you said to him, I want to consider, or I'm considering enhancing my skills. And then he sends you something so random. But also that has nothing to do with you. It's, what did you make of it, if you make anything of it?
No, he just forwarded the document to me as received, and I went through them. And I saw that this has nothing, or is not relevant to my environment or the skills that I want to enhance.
Okay.
Nothing more than that, Commissioners.
Okay, thank you.
Brigadier, if we can then move from this, you'll see at page 13, it's a series of phone calls. And then if you go to page 14, in the middle of the page on the 23rd of January 2025 at 12:03, you send, prior to that, there's 2 calls at 10:22, and at 12:03 you then send a message saying confirmed. Mr. Madlanga responds with a thumbs up emoji. Do you recall what this was about?
No, I don't recall.
Thank you, Brigadier. And if you proceed, there's more calls. And at page 15, in particular, let's go to the 28th of Jan 2025. Mr. Madlanga sends you what is a picture. Can you explain what that picture depicts?
I don't know, maybe perhaps it's a picture of the outstanding payment or the authorizations that were captured. I am not 100% sure what does the picture depict.
The text below the picture says, I believe tomorrow, since they did send a notification to you and there is a new 4th-generation chicks land include. Do you remember or recall what the context of that is and what would be the significance of Mr. Madlanga sending that to you?
No, I don't know.
If you look at the text itself, it's clearly related to the picture, the contract itself.
Yeah.
And it may be a list of approvals. I'm not entirely sure. The question remains why? Why would Mr. Madlanga send this to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to look even at the next conversations.
Perhaps.
Could he not have been telling you, I mean, you have a telephone call with him on the same day at 11:11, and then at 14:24 he sends you a screenshot, and there's stuff like ACB information, and I think approved, checked. I think that ACB has to do with banking. I think I can say that to you. And I see you nodding, you agree. Could it be that you had been discussing with him issues about payment to him? It seems that's the sensible reading of this. Otherwise, you would have called him and say, I don't know what this is. Why are you sending me this?
I think I'm not 100% sure, commissioners. By this time, he was in dispute with one of his contracted service provider that did not want to give him work that was completed. And the service provider wanted him to do a payment before he can give him work. And he was under pressure. So I think maybe he was showing that he will receive payment so that he can pay the service provider.
So he is sending it to you to do what? To update you?
Yes, as I have indicated, I will normally ask him why is he not paying the service providers.
And this would have been as part of your work on, I don't want to use the word management, of the contract.
It was affecting my work in a way that if he's not paying the service providers, then the appointment will not be scheduled. We will try to make appointments with the contracted service provider through him, but they will refuse to assist us because they did not receive any payment.
And this wouldn't be the duty of the contract manager?
If there are challenges in my environment that is affecting the facilitation of the appointments, then as a brigadier in that section, I need to intervene.
Thank you, Brigadier. And if you continue, then there's 2 more calls that happen on that day, and then there is a video attachment. If we can just play the video attachment.
And currently now, we're standing at 3.4, and then the 50% for Western Cape is payable because we're beginning to lose trust in the payments which are due to us.
On the one hand, I understand but the biggest concern is that we've made it into 2 million, and now we're pushing the target to another 1.4 million. And I was open and honest with you to say that we cannot afford it. We need to settle everybody, because there's a lot of work coming, but if I don't settle everybody, how do I generate funds in the business? So I think it's a little bit of fear what's happening now, and I think it's, I fully understand your concerns, I grasp it, but I think, if I was in touch, if I was, what's the right word, ridiculous to say I'm not going to pay you, I wouldn't allow you to come see me, and where I said to you, I'll give you an access card and sit here and see as we operate, money coming in, we can pay. So I mean, we're trying our best, but you guys are making it now a little bit uncomfortable. And I don't want that, because I think you guys are amazing service providers. You've gone beyond the call, and all of a sudden it's especially a problem. I mean, we can't change the ball game. It doesn't work.
Yeah, Mike, the ball game has completely changed after the negotiations that continue today.
Okay. I think what we must do is, let's have a chat. I need to speak to you, because as now I've done this everything, I need to actually introduce you back. Let's stay in chat. understand. I mean, the family must decide to do that. I fully understand. It's just 3.4. I don't know. No, I can't see that happening, but it's not my call to make. That's chairman's call to make, but I know the funds that this will have done.
All right, no problem. Mike, I want you to know that I really want to assist you, especially if you meet your deadline, but that's going to be in your guys' hands.
Okay. Cool. I'll give you a shout back. I'll see you on the other line.
Brigadier, do you recall this video and what it was about?
Yeah. Now I remember. It will also go with the screenshot that you asked me about on page 15. This video, it was regarding a meeting or a negotiation which they had with one of the service providers who was refusing to give them work that has been completed. They wanted to receive payment first before they can give them the files. Mr. Madlanga is one person that would like sharing document and sharing info.
And here again, the purpose of him sharing this with you was to keep you informed, or was there anything that he expected you to do about this?
No, it was just to keep me informed.
And given that it affects your environment, knowing this, you took no steps internally?
No, it was not in my environment.
No,
it was
I mean-
affecting a different environment.
My apologies. Earlier you said that the reason why you are intervening, it would be because it affects your environment. So this one didn't affect your environment?
This one did not affect my environment. It had to do with pre-employment. My environment is medical surveillance. Like I have indicated, there are different streams. You'll have your pre-employment, you'll have your incapacity leave, your short-term capacity leave. So it was in a different environment.
So in essence, Mr. Madlanga was sharing with you a problem he was experiencing in a different environment and updating you on something that had nothing to do with you, essentially.
That's correct.
Okay. And then there's a call that happens at 19:10, and thereafter there's another screen, no, it's a picture. Do you recall this picture? And if you do know, what does it depict?
I don't know whether there was payment or it's what he was paid. So far, I don't know how to interpret this picture because I can see there's an amount there. So I'm not sure whether it was a payment which was to be paid to him or whatever that he has been paid since the inception of the contract.
And when you get this picture and you don't understand what it means, did you ask Mr. Madlanga what is he trying to convey to you?
The way he likes sharing information, sometimes you don't even ask, why are you sending me this document? What must I do with this document? I just open it and leave it there.
So it's in essence, again, Mr. Madlanga would send you random information from the contract, the Medicare contract, which part of it is serviced by your environment, and you wouldn't understand what it's for, you wouldn't ask, and you just leave it at that.
You will see a lot of times when he send me documents or pictures, I'm not even commenting on them.
But equally, there would be calls in between or following those messages. For example, if you look at that document, before that at 9:10, there was a call between you and Mr. Madlanga. Thereafter at 9:14, he sends the picture.
19.
Sorry, my apologies,
1910 and
9.
1940.
My apologies. 1910 and 1914.
I believe it has to do with the same video or concern that he had, that he's not receiving the certificate of fitness from a specific service provider. And sometimes we will discuss our own personal issues.
All right, thank you, Brigadier. If you look at the next message that comes in, it's on the 30th of January 2025 at 11:10. That's at the bottom of page 16, but if you turn the page over, you'll see the contents of it. And there, it's an email correspondence with the subject line, SAPS Recruitment Project 5500, Outstanding Medical Certificates of Fitness. Have you had regard to those screenshots? They continue on, my apologies, at page 18, and it ends at page 19.
This is the same information that will be relating to the picture and the video that was played. This one will be in connection with the outstanding certificate of fitness, which were not submitted by his company.
So this was a non-performance complaint of sorts from SAPS.
That's correct.
And here again is your evidence that you've got this, it wasn't related to you, and it was just an update or random sharing of information.
That's correct.
Why would Mr. Madlanga send you this if it has nothing to do with your work environment, and it obviously has nothing to do with your relationship? It doesn't say anything about your relationship. Why does he send you this?
Because he related to me that he was struggling with one of the service providers that did not want to give him the certificate of fitness.
Yes. Well, why does he tell you that? What are you supposed to do when he tells you that he's struggling with getting certificates of fitness?
Nothing. Just sharing of information, maybe also wanting to talk to someone.
Is he not perhaps sending this to you so that you can speak to your colleagues internally to assist him get payment so that he can pay the service providers? I mean, it's strange that he would send you things that have nothing to do with you and that he doesn't expect you to do anything about.
This has nothing to do with the payment of Mr. Madlanga.
Yes.
It's the outstanding certificate of fitness, which he must submit to recruitment.
Yes.
Which he must submit to recruitment. Now he's just showing me that he's struggling with the service provider that he has contracted, because the service provider wanted money before he can give him the certificate of fitness. As shown on the video, they were negotiating with the service provider.
Yes, now I understand the video and how you've explained the video. What I don't understand is SAPS writes to him effectively complaining about performance on the contract, and he shares it with you, and there is no explanation why it's being shared with you. That's why I'm proposing to you that perhaps he sent this because you have had a discussion with him and he's showing you what's happening in your organization, and he's sending this to you so that you can assist him internally with your people.
There's no way that I will assist Mr. Madlanga on a stream that I'm not involved in. unless it was for medical surveillance in my environment, maybe then I will try to assist. But if it's for a different stream, there's no
Yes.
way that I will be able to assist him.
Well, you could assist him by speaking to your colleague in that stream to help him out. You could. There's always that possibility that you could speak to someone in that other stream to try and to understand what's going on, and then to see if you can assist him by using your relationship with someone. You understand what I'm saying, what I'm putting to you?
I do understand, but the only way that he could be assisted was to pay the service provider, then the service provider must give him certificate of fitness
Yes.
so that he can submit it to the recruitment.
Yes.
From my side, there was nothing. Even when I talk, even if I can talk to my colleague, because it was for members that were supposed to go for basic training. Now he must give certificate of fitness to show that those members, those students, they have already been tested. So there was no way that I could assist Mr. Madlanga.
Well, you see, he's sharing with you his money troubles. Even that video, it's about a service provider saying we haven't been paid. We do know, maybe let me not say we do know, let me suggest to you that you do have access to people in finance.
No.
It's not your stream, but you do have access because they're your colleagues. They work with you. So when one tries to make sense, and here it's really inferences, because you're getting these videos, you're getting these WhatsApp messages that all speak to his money issues, right? His money troubles with the subs contract. There is no plausible explanation why he would send these things about his financial troubles. There's no plausible explanation that you are offering or from the WhatsApp messages. And so we have to draw inferences. What could he possibly have been intending? And it's not the same as saying you did speak to your finance people. I'm not in any way at that stage, at that point of suggesting it. I'm saying perhaps he sent this because he's hoping and expecting that you would speak to somebody to facilitate payments to him so that he can pay his service providers. No.
No, Commissioner.
Okay. You're telling us that you never did anything
No,
about all of
nothing.
these things that he's sending to you?
Nothing, because with this contract, as much as we have a finance department within our component, our division, this one, it was managed differently. There was a specific office that was dealing with the payment of the service provider, of this specific service provider.
Thank you.
So on that issue, did you play any role in the processing or payment of invoices to Medicare 24?
No. No.
In
What-
the approval? You were going to
Nothing.
explain, but remember, approval is a different process, and then there's the processing and payment. You were about to explain what your role was.
Okay. This is how it works. The ECHO members, in accordance to their database, will identify members that needs to do medical, maybe the following month or on the specific month. Then they will draw a list of those members. They will take it to the relevant managers of those members. Then the managers will sign the application. After signing the application, they will forward it to supply chain management, SHE management, who will create the authorizations. Once they create the authorization, one authorization, let's say it's an authorization of Brigadier Matjeng. It will be one paper of an authorization. Now, one authorization will go to the service provider, which is Medicare 24, and the other one will be coming to the ECO member. Then the ECO member will schedule an appointment with the service provider. If they try to schedule appointment with the service provider and the service provider is not coming to party, and it's been weeks since they tried to schedule the appointment, then they will inform me. That's where I will intervene.
Let's not focus on the appointments, because appointments are about trainees and members in service. I'm more concerned about invoices.
That's where I'm
Because
going.
you are saying the dispute was between Mr. Matlala's company and another provider or a service provider to him.
Yes,
And that's what they were fighting about.
yes.
Now, if SAPS was delaying Mr. Matlala's payments, obviously he could not pay
That's correct.
his suppliers or his providers.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Now, did you play any role in the payment of Mr. Matlala's invoices or their processing? Was there any
Within SAPS,
proof?
within the organization.
Yes. So say Medicare 24 submitted invoices to SAPS. Would you ever see them or have a look at them or approve them?
They're not even coming to me, those invoices. That's where I was explaining to say, once the authorization has been issued, an appointment has been honored, members conducted their medical surveillance, then you will have something that will be called a certificate of fitness for that specific member. Now, Medicare will take the certificate of fitness together with the authorization and submit it to SHE management in supply chain management, who will certify the payment.
If they delayed the payments, would you intervene?
No, I will not. Because I don't know what certificate of fitness did he submit, because it's not one invoice. I think the payment are based on the certificate of fitness that will have been submitted.
Can you then, so you're saying you didn't become involved at all with invoices?
That's true, Commissioner.
Well, then explain what you said earlier in the day, that sometimes you would deal with him about his invoices, and in some cases he's ended up with lesser amounts in the invoices that you're dealing with. I think it's in your statement. You did speak to your involvement here at paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4?
Of your statement.
I don't think it was, I was referring to invoices.
No, you said, and correcting him where numbers were not corresponding, which effectively qualified him to invoice lesser. So at least I read it and understood it to mean that you do have something to do with, which ultimately is about invoices. Can you just explain that in the light of your answer to Commissioner Khumalo?
I think this statement was reference to the name list that was on the chat, whereby I sent him a name list of 140 members on the non-arrival. From his side, he had an impression that the non-arrival or the misappointment were 300. Forgetting that he did other follow-ups with the medical surveillance. And I was just sending him a name list to say that, no, you only have 140. It's not 300. So my further statement, it was just to say, whatever information that I was sending him, it did not benefit him as a service provider. It did not benefit him as a service provider, but it disadvantaged him for claiming for more.
Okay. Thank you.
Then, Brigadier, if we just keep to those chats on the 30th, maybe this will shed more light. After the screenshot with the non-performance email, there's 2 calls that then take place at 11:12 and 11:17. Mr. Matala then calls you back at 12:52, which is then followed by a message at 12:53. Good morning, Tate Matala. Yes, the doctor completed the files already, COFs to be scanned. What is that in relation to?
It's a message that he forwarded to me, which is relating to the previous conversation, to say that the service provider did not want to give him the COFs before he can make payment.
All right, let's just complete that. Then you call him at 13:49, and if you turn the page over, he then texts you, are we winning, Diva? And this is then followed by 2 calls at 16:17 and 16:32. Now, considering what you've said about this interaction on the 30th, what was he referencing when he says, are we winning, Diva?
Sure, I'm trying to recall.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to recall why will he send a message to say, are we winning?
Remember, the context, if one has regard to it, is that on this day in particular, he started by sending you the non-performance letter, so saying to you that your SAPS has sent me this letter, and he, like you said, it was a continuation of his struggles with a service provider or a subcontractor of his, and he's sharing to you all of these complaints. And then at the end of that, having shared to you all of his complaints and that SAPS is not paying, therefore he can't pay a SAPS provider, he says to you, are we winning, Diva?
Maybe before you answer, let me say that are we winning, Diva? You were obviously doing something for him. He was expecting you to come back with a response that yes, I'm winning or not. So whatever your answer is, it must move from a premise of you were doing something for him and he was expecting you to give him a response.
I agree, Commissioner. It might be that maybe he requested me to do something and he was asking me if we are winning, but I can't remember what was it.
Do you think that something had something to do with the series of conversations and documents that were shared before? Because it doesn't happen in the vacuum, it happens after this exchange about his issues with SAPS and communicating what issues SAPS has with him. And maybe to tie it all together and refer to the exchange that you had with Commissioner Baloyi about him sending you all of this. Wasn't there an expectation that you'd do something, and could the something be talk to your colleagues?
Talking to my colleagues, I don't agree. I don't remember calling any of my colleagues regarding this matter. But when he says, are we winning, probably there must be something that he requested me to do. Then he's asking if we are winning.
Let me say what it looks like to me. It looks like on the 16th, on page 16 rather, the very last message from him or WhatsApp from him, the 30th of January at 11:10, which is that letter of complaint, that email of complaint from the SAPS about certificates, outstanding certificates of fitness. That's on the 30th at 11:10. And then at 11:12, you have a call with him on the same day. So, remember, the letter from the SAPS, or the email, complaint email from SAPS, is at 11:10. You call him, because it's an incoming call, you call him at 11:12. It looks like your call is prompted by that letter, just looking at the sequence, including the time stamp. You call him again at 11:17. And then it says sent, there's an audio call from him at 12:52. And then at 12:53, he forwards you the message that says, "Good morning, Tate Madlanga. Yes, the doctors completed the files already, COFs to be scanned." He forwards this. So you are obviously discussing with Mr. Madlanga the COFs that, according to SAPS, were outstanding at the time. So you are discussing that with him. So now we do have an explanation. When you look at the sequence, we do have an explanation of what was going on here. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent you, forwarded you that speaks about COFs being sent. And then you call him. So this is at 12:53 that he forwards you that "Good morning, Tate Madlanga" message. And then at 13:49, you call him. And then at 16:15, the same day, he says, "Are we winning, Diva?" I didn't skip any communication. That's the complete communication until he asks you, "Are you winning, Diva?" And 2 minutes later, at 16:17, you call him. And at 16:32, you call him. And I'll stop there for now. So what it looks like he sent you this SAPS letter of complaint, not just to share, for the sake of it. He sent it to you to alert you there's a problem. This is what SAPS is saying. And then he forwards you that message that tells you, you have that communication with him, and I'm suggesting to you that in the telephone conversation, you must have been discussing this letter, because the next thing that happens is he forwards you the message from somebody, and then Diva, right? He asks you that question. So what it looks like, or what it suggests, is that he sent you were doing something for him about this, right? You accept that? That's what it looks like. Okay.
I agree, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
And then, Brigadier, at the end of that day, there's a series of calls between yourself and Mr. Madlanga. Now, if you go to the 31st of Jan 2025 at 10:26, Mr. Madlanga sends you the following video.
Ms. Bowie, I'm so sorry. Can I just finish off something that I meant to? So you and I, Brigadier, have agreed that this suggests you were doing something for him.
That's correct.
Yeah. I just want to confirm finally that this is the same area where you said it's not your component. This is about recruitment. I think you said.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bowie.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi.
First interpretation was in terms of the commitment that the president would have made to the nation. So now, I'm saying to the president, we are not achieving our target of 10,000 because of the legislation. No, we can't make like that. You made a commitment in my presence that by the 20th of December, you give us everything that we want. We are now end of January. We have to say everything that we want. And there's that possibility that we might not even reach our target, not because of ourselves, but because of you, the administration. So I hope you are going to give us a better feedback when you come to the podium on the 1.2, on the 2.2 item. And I don't want to hear anything, Mr. James. I don't know you. I don't want to hear anything. The only thing that I want you to say, your certificates are delivered and being delivered today. That is the only thing that I want on the table now. Nothing else. No more stories. I want those certificates by today. Otherwise, I have to escalate it. Because now to me that is beyond me. I can't do anything about it. Next week, the health manager is telling us, the service provider whom we are paying. No, you can't make like this. So general government in terms of this item will say it's clean, you tried to arrange a meeting, one meeting set, you tried to arrange the meeting was postponed as a result of the request by the health manager. That's why it's going to be kept up and we can make it clean, we're not going to have it to it again. Let's move to the next item. Item number 8.
Brigadier, do you have, you've had regard to this video, and do you know what it was about?
It's, it's in relation with what we discussed previously regarding the email and the other screenshot, whereby the COFs were outstanding, and I think they were in a meeting with, I think it's General Nkua that is speaking there. So he forwarded me this video. So it's a follow-up of all those documents and videos that he sent me to say I'm in trouble now.
And then he then sends a message saying they even imposed that penalty fee.
Yes, on his payment. He indicated that according to the service level agreement, if he's not delivering on time, then they will impose a penalty fee. Because he was not delivering these COFs, he's just indicating to me they even imposed that penalty fee.
And then what did Mr. Madlanga expect of you in this context?
Nothing.
And if it flows from the conversation that you would have had with him the day before, do you still maintain that he didn't want you to do anything about this?
Like I have indicated to the commissioner, there must be something that he asked me to do if we follow the context of the messages, but I can't remember what was it.
Brigadier, it must be that he said to you, please buy me time with General Nkua, because I'm already late with the certificates. They were supposed to be submitted in December. It's already the end of January. Because what else could it be if the conversation is about the late certificates of fitness?
Commissioner, I can't. I don't even have the contacts of General Nkua, nor talk to General Nkua. I don't think so. I think it has to do with a certificate of fitness that he did not receive that was delaying the recruitment in the organization. And the service provider was withholding those certificate of fitness. So I can't remember, or maybe he wanted me to talk to the service provider to give him the COFs.
So your evidence is that he would, it's much more plausible that he'd ask you to speak to a service provider than asking you to engage your own colleagues.
This one is complicated. It is complicated. But he wanted me to do something. It's either I spoke to the service provider that was holding up the COFs. Because it was also affecting our COFs. There was a medical surveillance which were done in our environment, and we also have not yet received those COFs. So it might be that he wanted me to talk to the service provider regarding the COFs.
No, Brigadier, I think something like that, you would remember it, because this issue about the COFs was a big issue for you, for the
Yes,
for the
that's
organization.
correct,
It was a big issue. Would have been a big issue. And this is in January 25, so just a few months before the cancellation of the contract. So I would expect that you would have a clearer memory of issues surrounding this, because you are not distant from this. He's sharing with you. He's talking. The two of you are talking about this problem, and so I would expect that you would have a clearer recollection that yes, I did speak. I ended up speaking to a service provider, and so that and this is what the kind of conversation we had, or I ended up speaking to a colleague in that component, whichever one it was. I'm not sure I understand why you don't have a clear recollection on something so specific. This is not just asking you what was the telephone call about. That sometimes you may be excused for not remembering it. But there was a big deal about this. It's, as you say, it was affecting you, even your work environment. And if you did do anything about it, I expect that you remember that. It's difficult to understand you don't remember.
That is why, Commissioner, I'm saying I do agree. He expected me to do something. But what comes into my mind is talking to the service provider regarding the COFs. That's what comes into my mind. And as I'm reading, I can see, I'm asking him, did she give you the file? And he's saying she didn't. Now, further follow-up, did you pay her? So maybe it's regarding the COFs, which were held up by the service provider. Not maybe, it is.
Brigadier, but you maintain that you can't say for sure. You just think it could have been related. And assuming that you were speaking about the service provider, in what capacity were you then taking on what is essentially his issue with a service provider?
The service provider did not give him the COFs. And I also had outstanding COFs from my environment.
Brigadier, I'm asking in what capacity would you be approaching the service provider? If I understand you correctly, this would be Mr. Matlala's company would have subcontracted some other service provider. In that, the service provider doesn't release the COFs on account of non-payment. You say you think the most plausible thing, or what you have in your mind, would have been to approach the service provider. In what capacity would you be approaching the service provider?
I think I overstepped there. I was not supposed to approach the service provider.
And whose interest would you be advancing if you approach the service provider?
Both.
Both?
Because I also have outstanding COFs.
So when you say both, what do you mean? Both Mr. Matlala and
the
subs?
organization.
Yes, not you as an individual.
No.
Or maybe 3, not 2.
No, not me.
You really can't quite divorce your interests from his. You are his partner. And let's face it, when you speak to a service provider in this case, it's really to assist Mr. Matlala, right? You didn't do it to assist SEPS. You did it to assist Mr. Matlala because he's stuck, penalties are being applied. So when you approach a service provider, it's to make it possible for him to get those certificates in the training, because you said that's for recruitment, right? So you were making it possible for him to get those certificates of fitness so that he complies with the terms of the contract. Because General Nkua has now said, I will escalate it. That's it. So you are helping him. There's no question about it. But you must also accept that assisting him benefits you as well personally. because you are his partner. He gives you money. He assists you. And I'm not criticizing that he gives you money. It's not my emphasis now. My emphasis is a financial resolution of Mr. Madlala's conundrum now, the fix that he's in with this contract. If that is resolved, the certificates and therefore the finances, the payments to him also benefits you.
You might look at it in that way, Commissioner, but it's also benefiting the organization because delays in submitting the COF's members will not go to training on the allocated time or the planned time, as well as from my environment. If I do not receive the COF, some members are refusing to go to the lab and work.
Yeah, but that was not the concern here. You have said the COFs, these ones this stuff that is sending you, those COFs have to do with recruitment. You said it's not your, I think you said component, I don't know what it's called, but you said it's not your area.
Yes.
So it's somebody else's area.
Yeah.
If SAPS benefits, it's incidental. It's not what you were trying to do. You were not solving a problem for SAPS because that area of recruitment, they have the ability to solve this. Contract management, as you say, contract management, that's their function to solve this kind of stuff when it happens. Your direct involvement here, when you speak to, if that's what you did, you spoke to a service provider, which you say you realized it was overstepping. It was to benefit him, to solve a problem for him, so that SAPS stops giving him a problem. And the proposition I'm making to you, and I don't see how you would deny it, is that a resolution of his financial difficulties to do with this contract benefits you or his other partner or his wife, anybody, his children, if you like, right? That's a proposition I'm making, that you do get a benefit from this.
Commissioner, over and above that, I don't want us to leave the fact that SAPS was benefiting as well.
Yeah, no. The consequence, if the certificates are submitted, SAPS benefits because it gets, but that was not your intention. You didn't act to help the SAPS. You did not. It wasn't your job. You say you overstepped. You didn't do this for the SAPS. It wasn't even your unit or your section that was at issue here. You were not doing it for the SAPS.
But
you were doing it for Mr. Madlanga. Can we agree that? You were helping Mr. Madlanga in an area which had nothing to do with your functions. You used your position and relationship with a supplier because you deal with this supplier. I'm assuming it has to be a supplier, that otherwise how would you even call them a cold call? So I'm making the assumption that it's a supplier that you know because of your work, of your area. So you are able to pick up a call and speak to the supplier. If it's not a supplier that you know and have dealings with or you have encountered because of your area, then you were using your position as a SAPS person to call a supplier cold, to say you are giving Medicare trouble because they haven't paid you. Please work with them and help them to get those COFs. But it was to benefit Mr. Madlanga when you made that call. That SAPS benefited is incidental to that, or it's a natural consequence of assisting Mr. Madlanga. So let's take it step by step. Do you accept that your call to the supplier, you called to assist Mr. Madlanga? That was the reason you called, because he's having trouble with COFs for recruitment. Do you accept? Are you prepared to accept that, to concede that?
I'm partially accepting because it was not only to benefit Mr. Madlanga.
Okay.
And I hear what you are saying, Commissioner, but I was assisting both individuals, not individuals, Mr. Madlanga as well as the organization. From my side, from my environment, I also had the outstanding COFs.
Okay. My second proposition to you is that you're assisting Mr. Madlanga, if you're successful assisting Mr. Madlanga, you also get a benefit from it because your partner's financial troubles and contractual troubles get resolved. You do have I would have an interest in my partner's business getting money and their contract not being terminated. So I don't think you should be shy to accept that you, of course, would benefit, because he would be able to give you 100,000 rands and he wouldn't be able to give it to you if he's not getting paid by the SEPs. I mean it only in that way.
Commissioner, I will accept only if you add also that SAPS was also benefiting from this.
I'm prepared to accept, Brigadier, that the SAPs benefited as well.
Thank you.
They did get a benefit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brigadier, if you can then go and just finish off that conversation that was happening on the 31st.
We are on page 21.
On page 20, I think the timestamp is at the bottom for the next message. On the 31st at 10:32, you ask him, did she give you the file?
That's correct.
And he responds, she didn't. You then revert and say, did you pay her? And he then sends you a screenshot of what seems to be a conversation with someone who then confirms that they say payment is done. So if you look at the bottom of that screenshot, it says they say payment is done. On the following page, I'm waiting for the remittance. And there, Mr. Madlanga reverts to that person and says, okay, I'll be waiting. What was that in relation to?
It's a relation.
Same issue. Sorry, my apologies. You can proceed.
Can I? It's relating to the question that I've asked him, did you pay her? And now he's just showing me that payment has been done and I'm waiting for remittance. It's a screenshot of someone that forwarded to him.
Brigadier, is it payment to an individual or payment to a company?
Payment to a company.
Why do you refer to the company as her? And he answers, she didn't. I mean, your first question was, did she give you a file?
Yes.
And then he says she didn't. And then you say, did you pay her?
Yes.
So both of you are speaking about a female person here and not a CC or a company or...
Yes. Because the company owner is a female.
Is that?
Yes.
This company is a service provider.
It's a service
you know
provider
that.
to Mr.
So that's who
Madlanga.
you spoke to.
Yes.
That's the person you spoke
I
to.
believe so.
No, it looks like that when he asked, are you winning Diva, he was asking, are you succeeding with the service provider? And you succeeded with the service provider, and you expected that she would give Mr. Madlanga a
The
file.
files, yes.
And you asked, did you pay her? Pay her what? What had you been discussing with Mr. Madlanga about payment?
The payment that he's owing to the service provider, seeing that the service provider doesn't want to give him files.
Mm. So this file would have what? If it's a service provider file, what would be in the file?
It will be the certificate of fitness, feedback from medical surveillance, and it will depend on the test that has been conducted for medical surveillance. It will be your height, your weight, your BP, your respiratory, your lung function. It will be your lung function, maybe your urine test,
Yes.
and your blood test.
Okay.
And if they have detected anything on your urine test, or your physical examination, or your blood test, then they will indicate on the COF.
So how should we read, if you go back to page 19, where he forwards you someone who has said to him, COFs to be scanned, that's on the 30th. And then on the 31st, you are asking about, did she give you a file and did you pay her? It seems to be out of sequence because already on the 30th, someone is saying the COFs are going to be scanned. How should we read and understand this?
I think this is a message that Mr. Madlanga forwarded that he received from the previous, from the other service provider. Because the other service provider is saying, good morning, Tate Madlanga. Yes, the doctors completed the file already. The COFs to be scanned.
So we can accept that when someone says to him, the COFs to be scanned, it must mean he's already paid, right? Otherwise, he won't be getting the COFs, because that's what this fight is about.
Sometimes, what I've noted after this whole thing, they will give the COFs, then after giving the COFs, he will pay them later.
Okay.
Based on the COF that they have gave to him, and also the quality check that will have been done on the COF.
Okay.
So in this instance, I think he promised him that the COF will be scanned. Then he realized that Mr. Madlanga is owing him money, and he never gave him the COFs. Hence, that video whereby they were negotiating the money.
So are you saying that the message about COFs to be scanned and the message at 21 where you ask, did she give you the file? She didn't. Did you pay her? Are you now saying they are they relate to the same service provider?
That's
or
correct,
it's different
Commissioner.
service providers?
That's the same service provider.
Okay. Thank you.
Brigadier, after the screenshot, there's a series of calls. And Mr. Madlanga had essentially told you that payment is done. And did this constitute that everything was now sorted as it related to the service provider?
No. No, I think this is a screenshot.
Yes.
I don't think Mr. Madlanga will call the service provider, Salam brother, can you please check with your guys how far is the payment? It should be someone who's having access to the Persap system. Now he's sending me this screenshot to say to show that payment has been done. He has not yet received the money in his bank because he says, I'm waiting for remittance. So once payment is in his account, then he will be able to pay the service provider.
So, and so at this point, is this the end of your intervention then?
I believe so.
Did you ask for anything after all your efforts? I hope I'm not going too
No,
far.
I know where you're going.
I hope I'm not going too far. You know where I'm going, but not too far.
No, I did not.
With this screenshot, what is he doing? Is he reporting to you that now he's being paid?
Yeah, he's waiting for payment, and once he receives his payment, he will be able to pay the service provider.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
That's how I understand.
That's how you read
the
it.
screenshot, yes, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
And so now the following day, this is now on the 1st of February at 10:12, you call Mr. Madlanga, and at 11:41, you send him a picture of what looks like, I want to say a mechanic and a car, and attached to that picture you say, "Nkadime koloi batho," with a crying emoji.
Yes.
And maybe let's,
Meaning what?
oh, my apologies.
Please borrow me
Meaning
a car.
what, Brigadier?
Please borrow me a car, and I'm crying that I don't have a car.
Thank you.
And then if we can just play the voice note that you send to Mr. Madlanga.
Why would ignore? Happy for later to look at the mechanical to the camera, what the training, the training kit. If I did, when not all of them may be very full in okay, what am I this training, you know, so.
Thank you, Brigadier. Because there was some Setswana in there, I'll just ask you to translate what you said, or just recount what you said in that voice note.
No, I'm just saying, why is he ignoring me? The car which they were fixing, they could not fix it. Because now they're telling me about, oh, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not good in car parts. They're telling me about valves, cam belts, and yeah.
There was something about midweek, or did I miss here? Mahareng abeg something.
Yeah, I think it was during the week.
I think he says he'll fix it. I think you said in that clip, he says he will fix it during the week. Maharinga Beke that the chair is referring to.
Yeah, the mechanic. The mechanic has indicated that they will fix the car during the week.
Wambona ke yasutlwa Setswana.
Ke a bona wa Sutwa Commissioner.
And then in response at 14:21, Mr. Madlanga says, "I don't have a car, rather I'll rent a car on Tuesday for you."
Sorry?
Sorry, Brigadier, are you okay? Or
No, I'm
do you-
okay.
Oh, okay. So he then sends you this message.
The one that says, I don't have a car, rather I'll rent you a car on Tuesday for you. Yes.
So, Brigadier, just to understand this interaction regarding the car, in what capacity do you then send this request?
It's Dali.
As?
Dali.
Dali.
Lavi.
Lavi, oh my
Yes.
You listen to the
Mr.
chair,
B.
right?
Hey.
Okay, so now you've reverted back to advancing, this was a conversation in the context of two lovers. All right. And as Commissioner Kumalo asked, that did you ask for anything in return? This was not in return for the favor you had done, but rather...
And my answer is no. I asked nothing in return.
Okay, this request is just purely coincidence that it happens after, and it was just lover to lovey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it a coincidence that the 4th of February was a Tuesday?
It's a what, Commissioner?
Just go to the previous page. Remember now, as Dali, as Lavi, he says, I'll rent a car for you on Tuesday. Now, is it a coincidence that the 4th of February 2025 was a Tuesday?
No, remember the money was not going to me. It was going directly to the butcher.
I was not asking about the money. So you already know where I'm going.
Yes.
I suppose for good measure, then on the 4th, which would have been then, so on the 4th of February at 13:10, Mr. Madlanga sends you proof of payment at the account of choice being Osizweni Meat Market for a payment of 100,000. And just to confirm, you still maintain that that was for him to settle his account with the butchery, and it wasn't to direct a payment to you through that account.
That's correct, I confirm.
And on the same day, he also sends you a message saying, I will come, you still fighting with Udire and the lawyers, and you say that you think that would have been call you. I will call you, still fighting with the lawyers.
Yeah. And Udire and lawyers is the service provider that we've been discussing regarding the COFs.
Okay, so he's updating you ostensibly on a conversation you've been having. All right. Then this is followed by a series of calls, one at 2027 and another at 2030. Then on the 12th.
Ms. Boy, just let's deal with the issue of the car first. Your car troubles at the end of January. Mr. Madlanga promised you a car on Tuesday the 4th. What happened to your car troubles? We are now on the 12th, which is a week later.
It was fixed.
Before it was fixed?
Did
he rent a car for you?
It was fixed the following day.
Oh. So he did not need to rent a car for you?
No.
Or to give you money to rent a car?
No, Commissioner. I've been driving this Korokoro that you are seeing here.
All right. Now we're at page 25 on the 12th of February at 8:15. You initiate a call with Mr. Madlanga, and at 8:31, you request that he send you the letter. The letter, then Mr. Madlanga responds at 8:33 with 2 letters. If we could just go to the annexures tab to MTJ 5 and 6 at page 51 of the annexure bundle.
5 and 6.
Yes, so page 51. Maybe let's start with page 51. Right? So at page 51 is a letter of demand for non-performance on the contractual obligations for Medicare 24. And in the letter, SAPS details a series of non-performance in most of the areas that Medicare is supposed to be servicing. Can you confirm that? And at MTJ6 is a response from Medicare, a response to the letter of demand. And in that response, generally, Medicare tries to explain its position in relation to all the areas that SAPS had pointed to non-performance.
That's correct.
Can you confirm that?
I confirm.
And ultimately, they promise to essentially do better. They say they will ensure that various work streams within 14 days that a bilateral meeting is held to ensure the backlogs are addressed and timelines given for the submission. That's on page 60.
That's correct.
All right. So if we can then go back to the chats. In response to the two letters, you then write to Mr. Madlanga and say, on your response, you should also indicate the challenges experienced from SAPS, delays in payment, failure to have QTR meeting with SAPS to discuss challenges in order to improve service delivery as per SLA, members insisting on using their preferred doctors. Right? So you deal with this exchange at paragraph 23 of your statement. Oh, my apologies.
No.
28. Can't even read my
20?
own handwriting. 28. At 28 and 29. In particular, you note there that I then highlighted to him he could have included the non-payment issue, failure to have quarterly meetings with company as per SLA, and also the issues whereby members were insisting on going to their preferred doctors. You see that? Now, in your chat, right, when you read the chats, it seems that at 9:40, you were advising on what Mr. Madlanga should include in his response to SAPS. Can you see that? Your language there, it says, on your response, you should also indicate that. Can you see that?
I see that, but already the letter was drafted and sent to SAPS.
And then in your statement, you modify it to say you highlighted to him that he could have. Can you see that? So here, what I wanted to understand in particular is when you send this kind of response to Mr. Madlanga in response to a letter, and you've already accepted that the letter highlights non-performance in almost every area that Mr. Madlanga was servicing, that you in turn would advise Mr. Madlanga that he should note what is SAP's challenges. Do you have a comment to that? I mean, why would you advise him to do this, and whose interests were you advancing with this advice?
You know, if he's complaining about the delays in payment, which is affecting him to perform effectively. Now, when I look at the letter, all of those that he was complaining about They were not included in the letter. Now, it makes me wonder if he was telling the truth that there was delay in payment from SAPS, or because if delay in payment was an issue, I believe that he could have included it on his letter, but he did not include it.
But you know he didn't include it. And what you then do is advise him to include it.
The
Because
letter was,
the letter was sent. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
preclude him from
yeah.
sending another letter.
Yeah.
And if you consider it, they are responding to a letter of demand and not including these challenges. It is you who suggest that they included. They didn't see it necessary to do so.
I agree.
So my question again is, whose interests are you advancing here when you give this kind of advice?
Of Mr. Madlanga,
Right. Thank you.
Against who?
against my employer.
So let's then go to the next.
Can I
Oh,
just
my
ask
apologies.
a different question? Brigadier, that letter of demand that is at page 51, it speaks of different streams, work streams, right? In which he said,
MT6, Commissioner?
MTJ5. It's a letter of demand, non-performance. It has different work streams, and yours, if I am correct, if I've correctly understood your evidence, yours appears to be at page 52. You can correct me?
That's correct,
Where it says
Commissioner.
medical surveillance work stream.
That's correct, Commissioner?
Okay. Now, the second paragraph there says, in your stream, about your stream, it says, for the period July to December 2024, all the requests for periodic medical surveillance remain outstanding with a health risk manager beyond turnaround time, and in brackets it says 100% non-performance, right? You see that?
I see that, Commissioner.
Yes. So there's a problem in your area, according to this letter, 100% non-performance. How is it that you assist Mr. Madlanga what you say he should have included in his letter to show that SAPS itself has been in default? It has made it difficult for him to perform his job. You're assisting him in that when in fact in your own area, the SAPS records 100% non-performance. And this is a non-performance that you have not dealt with. And can I just put my proposition to you that I think this, in fact, which I've just read to you, and the history of how you've been assisting him, that it actually glaringly sets out the conflict position in which you were. Because according to this letter, they are not performing in your section, but notwithstanding that, you are consistently assisting him. And you're not dealing with the fact that he's not performing in your section. That speaks to the serious conflict of interest that you had, that you couldn't deal with his non-performance because of your relationship with him. Can you see the problem that presents?
Commissioner, when I inquired about this letter to supply chain SHE management, they indicated that there was a typo. In this specific stream is where Mr. Madlanga was performing and excelling.
Where the typo being what? Where here is
The typo being the non-performance. When I inquired, the person who drafted this told me that there was a typo, and in this work stream, he was performing. It was not 100% non-performance.
But, is the typo 100% instead of a lower percentage? Are you saying he was performing 100% or he was not performing but only 20%? I'm trying to understand when you say typo.
By December, in my environment, it was 100% performance.
Full perform, by the time this letter went out?
Yes.
Did you correct this?
No,
with
it
the-
was
with
not
the-
me who compiled the letter.
No, when
And I
you,
was not consulted when it was compiled.
now that you have the letter, Mr. Madlanga gives you the letter, you don't say to him, actually, you don't say to him in your proposal, you're suggesting to him what he should have included in that letter, right? In that WhatsApp message. You say you should have mentioned delays in payment, failure to have quarterly meetings, members insisting on using their preferred doctor. You don't say to him also that you should have included that you've been performing 100% in my area. That seems to me to be a big thing, more than failure to have quarterly meetings. It seems to me that if where you're sitting, a service provider that you are close to has in fact performed 100%, and he sends you a letter to which you are suggesting what you should have added, it's strange to me that you don't add that, but you should have added that you are performing 100% in my work stream where they say you are not performing.
Maybe because on his letter, on his response letter, he is clearly indicating that he is performing in the stream.
Can you show us that?
It will be on page 58.
Page?
58.
Yes. Yeah, what about page 58? Where does he say he's performing 100%?
He's under medical surveillance work stream, he's saying with regard to SHE management, our work stream has been working with various service providers and specialists through the country. This is the case when it comes to specialists with annual and renewal of medicals, in bracket, aviation and divers. From the 18th of June 2024, we have completed and certified 1,761 medicals nationally, and this will include drug testing and travel medication. We have 3 large medical groups currently being attended to, which include Northwest Province. These are planned to be completed by the 13th of February 2025 for over 300 annual medicals.
So are you saying the 1,761 medicals nationally under your work stream, that was 100% performance? I just want to make sure that I understand your evidence.
The measurement will be in terms of activating the appointments, because let me give an example where I'm sitting. We will do medicals of about 580. We plan for all 580. They will respond within a week to action the authorization. The challenge will be an issue of non-arrival of members, as well as the refusal. You'll get those that will be saying, I don't want to do the medicals. But from his side, he activated, made an appointment within the required period, as per SLA.
Yes, I think what I'm hoping for is a straight answer, whether you're saying that it was in fact incorrect for the SEPs to say in your work stream he has not performed at all, right? 100%. It was incorrect. To your knowledge, he had performed 100% or whatever lesser percentage. I'm trying to get that kind of clarification. Because I make a serious statement to you that, according to the SEPs, there was no performance in your section.
That's correct.
And you did nothing about it. That's quite a strong statement to make, right? But you say no, but they are wrong. And they are wrong to say he hasn't performed at all. in fact, he had performed 100%. That's what I thought you were saying. And when I said to you, show me where he says so, because you say maybe because he had replied and included it in his letter, that's why you were not advising it. So what I'm asking you is, are you saying the number that he speaks to, and I don't know anything about your environment and the numbers, are you saying the 1761 medicals that he says that they have action, that was 100% of what was required of him and that he completed? It's simply that I'm asking.
The 100% in my environment, that one I can confirm.
Okay.
Because after we received the authorization, the appointments were scheduled within a week.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But Commissioner, I must say it's not the total of 1,761. I'm talking about my environment, whereby it was, I think it was 585.
So when he says 1761, it's not your environment?
It's not only my environment.
Okay. All right.
Brigadier, remember that question I asked earlier and you said, let me look for the letterhead, and I said, don't waste time, we'll get to it. While you are on page 58, there is your answer. And remember, this is now the beginning of February. We're still on the 10th of February, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So it's clear. And because Mr. Madlanga sent you this, you knew that he was no longer a director of this company.
Maybe sometimes we don't pay attention into details. We just look into the content of the letter.
Brigadier, on the back of your exchange with Commissioner Baloyi, is it then just sheer coincidence that on your version, the only area where he was performing is yours?
It's not only mine.
If
you look at the 1,661, it's not only in my environment. Although it might be medical surveillance, but there are different divisions and components that are conducting medical surveillance.
But look at the letter that SAP sent. So if you look at the first one, temporary incapacity leave work stream, you'll see the general or high levels of non-compliance, 89.88 or 100% of non-performance. Can you see that?
I don't want to critique the letter that is coming from my organization. But looking at this picture, where it says 100% non-performance, it was not 100% non-performance. And also it was confirmed by the colonel who's working in supply chain management, who's managing this stream.
And you don't think it's curious that as a first response, it would be that this is inaccurate and not a true reflection of our performance?
Because for me, and according to my knowledge, he responded to it to say they have already completed and certified over 1,761 medicals nationally.
If you look at that, again, it's contained in response to what is medical surveillance work stream. My simple point is, if you have regard to the letter, in every stream, there is general non-performance. And you are now saying that this is not the case of your stream. So I'm asking if it's coincident that the only stream where you say there's 100% performance is yours.
It's not my stream alone. There's quite a number of brigadiers that are included in the medical surveillance work stream. My number will be 580 something, not the total 1,761.
So it is also then possible that when they say there's non-performance in the stream, it may be as a result of other streams within medical surveillance work.
It might be possible, but even if it might be in other streams, it cannot be 100% non-performance, seeing that the 580 something that we arranged for, he did perform within the allocated time.
My simple point, Brigadier, is that if you have regard to his letter versus what SAPS is saying in the letter of demand, what you're saying as the errors or perhaps a failure to properly capture the non-performance doesn't accord with the explanation that Medicare itself provides. If you are a contractor accused of gross non-compliance like this or non-performance, one would imagine that the very first thing you say is, this is not true, or, we are performing. Instead, much of it is, we agree, however, this is what we're going to do to try and make things better. We'll try to meet these requirements. We are engaging with service providers. You see, they give an explanation as opposed to deny that there's non-performance.
Okay. I think Medicare will be in a better position to come and explain this response.
Brigadier, the only reason why I'm asking you is because of your defense of Medicare in your responses to Commissioner Baloyi. But I'll take it no further than that.
May we take a 5-minute adjournment, and may we ask to see the legal representatives outside, please? Now. Let's adjourn.